watched the video and you approached Officer Flatton and his squad, and then you had muted your body-worn camera, and you and him had a short discussion. Do you recall that happening?
Was it right after initial contact with Ms. Barnes when I walked in the squad?
Yes. If it would refresh your recollection, I can play that portion pretty quickly. Just so we're on.
Yes, if you could, please.
Okay, give me just 1 second, okay? All right, I'm going to share the screen with you. I'll just ask you to kind of identify the video quickly, and then I'll fast forward to this area that I'm talking about.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. All right. Tell me, sir, whether you can see on your end a portion of looks like a body camera video.
Yep, it looks like Officer Flatton's on the right side by Selling Tobacco entrance, and that's Officer Hathman on the screen.
Right. And just from the screenshot that we're looking at here, this is entitled Anthony Haycraft, and then there are some numbers on the bottom. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
And does it appear to be your body-worn camera video?
It does.
All right. Let me fast forward now to the section where I was trying to talk to you about it. And so here we see you walking towards Officer Flatton, correct?
That is correct.
Right. All right, sir. So we just watched the portion where you had approached Officer Flatton and his squad, and you muted your video on your body camera, right?
Yes, it did.
And can you testify as to the discussion that took place that was muted?
I cannot say for sure what was discussed, but typically on domestic, when we talk like that, we initially start talking about if there's any kind of domestic or what information the other officer has from the other party, what their story is reference to domestic. Also what the Officer Flatton due to narcotics, I know I talked to him about the odor of marijuana coming from the vehicle.
Okay, all right. But otherwise, you don't have any memory of what you guys talked about here?
No, the only thing I can say for sure is I did tell him about the odor of marijuana at that point.
Okay. All right, thank you. I don't have any further questions, John.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kinney.
No redirect, thank you.
Thank you. You may be excused, Officer Haycraft.
All right, Sharon. Also, Officer Schaefer is going to be testifying from the same computer. So I don't know if you want to change it to his name on here, but I will go get him. He's in the hall. I'll go get him and have him standing by for his testimony.
Thank you.
Ms. Kinney, would you like to call your next witness?
Yes, the state calls Officer Chris Flatton.
Officer Flatton, could you please raise your right hand? Do you affirm under penalty of perjury the testimony you give during this proceeding is true? So answer, I do.
I do.
Okay, Ms. Kinney, you may proceed.
Thank you. Officer Flatton, where are you employed?
Through the city of Willmar at the Willmar Police Department?
Are you a licensed peace officer in the state of Minnesota?
Yes.
How long have you been a licensed peace officer?
A little over 12 years.
Have you been employed by the Willmar Police Department that entire time?
Yes.
What are your current job duties?
I'm currently a patrol officer. I'm also one of the Canine handlers.
Have you received training specific to investigating domestic assault and drug interdiction? Not
Yeah.
together, but separate.
Yes.
Have you used that training in the course of your job duties?
Yes.
Were you on duty on August 29th, 2020?
Yes.
Do you recall responding to a call of a domestic disturbance in the city of Willmar?
Yes.
What did you do when you received the dispatch of a domestic possibly occurring?
I was in the area. I was notified that the domestic was in a motor vehicle. I was fairly close to that location and went in search of that vehicle.
Was the vehicle moving when you first saw it?
No.
Were there occupants in the vehicle when you first saw the vehicle?
Yes.
How many occupants?
When I got on scene, there was, I believe originally 2. I saw a male driver leaving the vehicle. When I came into the area, he came back to the vehicle, and as I circled around, he ended up going into the store. I saw that there was a female in the passenger seat of the vehicle as well.
How were you able to confirm that the vehicle you're looking at was the same one that was reported by the caller?
They had sent out the license plate, and it matched.
How long were you on scene before Officer Athman and Officer Haycraft arrived?
Just moments. They were in the general area. Also, when the call came out, I advised them where I was, and they arrived a short time later.
What did you do to investigate this call?
Since Officer Athman, Officer Haycraft had arrived there also, I had saw the male driver and went into Sally Tobacco to speak with him.
Did you make any observations of the male driver?
He appeared very nervous and fidgety. When I was speaking with him, he was very fidgety with his hands and arms.
Did you ask him anything about that report?
About the initial call?
Yes.
Yes. I had asked him if he was in an argument with the passenger at one point, and he denied that there was.
What did you do after speaking with the male driver?
I had gone back to my squad car to run a couple things. I had heard dispatch say that one of the parties was canceled IPS, did not have a valid driver's license, and I wanted to see if it was the driver or the passenger.
Were you able to verify that?
Yes, it was determined that the driver was canceled IPS and was the registered owner of the vehicle.
Did you have any conversation at that time with Officer Haycraft?
Yes, he came over to my squad car and advised me that he could smell the odor of marijuana coming from within the vehicle when he spoke with the female passenger.
Had you made any observations of the vehicle prior to going to speak to the male driver?
When I passed by, a couple items caught my eye. One was a bat, the other one was a golf club in the back seat. I also noticed a couple things in the air vents. They were later determined to be dryer sheets.
What led you to deploy your canine partner?
I saw several small indicators, but the main one being that Officer Haycraft could smell the odor of marijuana in the vehicle.
Did you observe anything additional prior to actually giving your canine the command?
I saw that the registered owner had prior drug charges listed on his driver's license.
Did you observe Ms. Behrens light a cigarette?
Yes, when I was going to go back up to do a sniff of the vehicle, I saw that Ms. Behrens did indeed light a cigarette using a butane torch.
Is that different from like a regular lighter that anyone uses?
Yes, the butane torches are commonly used to smoke different drugs, such as cocaine, crack, methamphetamine, heroin. It burns a lot hotter than a typical lighter.
Did your canine partner alert to the presence of narcotics in the car?
Yes, he alerted to the driver's door seam for the odor of narcotics.
No further questions of this witness. Thank you.
Mr. Lederman.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Officer Platinum.
Good afternoon.
I have some follow-up questions for you, sir. So
Sure.
when you received the call, you were patrolling in your squad when you got the dispatch call, right?
Yes.
And this is August 20th, August 29th of last year around 2 p.m., right?
Yes.
Have you had a chance to review your police report recently?
Yes.
When did you read it last? Today?
Yes.
You had testified earlier that when you pulled out behind the Saturn in front of this Sally tobacco place, that you were able to confirm that the vehicle that was parked in front of your squad was the same vehicle that was dispatched over to you, correct?
Yes.
Is it true that nowhere in your police report you indicated that the vehicle matched the description you were given by dispatch?
I do not recall in my report